The Last of Us Season 2. I was rushing around trying to get to a review of episode 1, but reality is it's pretty bland, uneventful, and cringy, and just didn't get to myself, motivated enough to do it. Now we have episode 2, where everything is blown up and everyone's talking about it, even though we really shouldn't be surprised, other than I'm shocked that they're interested in destroying their show this quickly. But the show is clearly going to be about Ellie, her being gay, or at least bi, or something, and then us trying to somehow believe that these Gen Zers are surviving in the zombie apocalypse. Like, I really don't totally understand what they're kind of going for in a live action adaptation of a show where this 100-pound, 5'2" girl is sparring in the opening sequence. We're supposed to see 5 years later how she's been training and she's doing so great, where she's going against a dude that if he truly leveled her, it'd probably give her a concussion, knock her out, whatever. And he's like, I was pulling my punches. Well, yeah, everybody knows that. And she's so smarmy and nasty and everything. So we get introduced to this character, Dina, who is just a wonderful actress. She's beautiful in every way. She's giving us what we actually want in a charismatic protagonist, and doesn't feel like she's really out over her skis as far as what her character is or isn't going to be. Isabella Merced is fantastic as this character. And then we have just, Pedro Pascal, who's been, I guess he's presumably around 60 or so. I don't know. He's sad old man, former shadow of himself. He's relegated to be kind of a loner. He's got some sort of a strange relationship with poor Ellie. We don't totally understand what's going on there. Maybe she's learned about the Fireflies. With what's happened in episode 2, then why did we not address this issue? Like, it's so weird how they love throwing flashbacks together to catch everybody up when we could just talk about what's actually going on and not have to do that. So to make matters worse is, poor Joel, he's like thrust into like a therapy session with Catherine O'Hara, who is the widow of a dude that I don't even remember which character it was that Joel murdered in last season. I don't remember any murders being particularly out of line for the character in the journey and trying to survive what was going on, but she's resentful, pot smoking, kind of nasty, smarmy. What did you do? And he has this line of, all I did was save her. And you're like, okay, yeah. I mean, are these supposed to be big oomph gotcha moments? Because I definitely am not feeling it. And then we have sort of like, you saw the photo with them on horseback where they're going to go out. She's not really going to follow any rules, and she's just going to be difficult to be around. Then we have also just a brief little background of Abby and Owen, and I'm kind of know and remember who they are, Fireflies. Don't really care. She takes the Ellie witch thing and then just scales it up like 100-fold. And this tiny little actress is at least decent at what she's doing, but she's evidently not at all like the mannish character that she's supposed to be in the game, that we have this sort of like vengeful vendetta center point that the entire show is going to build upon. So I just really don't totally understand where anything is going. The show does still thrive on just being a beautifully shot show with great sets. Everything looks good. Everything feels great. The lighting, everything kind of gives you an immersion in a world building that you need to believe all of this is going on. So I think that is the show's still strength. There's a quick sequence where Ellie and Dina are on this thing, and the adults let them go in by themselves. Like, I don't understand why. It's a good idea. She falls to the floor. She finds one that is now clever and thoughtful, sneaking around, trying to get her. Of course, she gets bit again. She covers it up by creating some scars, because we still live in this fantasy land that we can't handle the thought that an adult could be explained, yes, this person got bit and they survived, and the Fireflies were experimenting on her. Like, the only reason the show can exist from like the second half of last season to now is we have to keep so many secrets about what's going on. This is my biggest pet peeve with shows, when we have plot points that are written only on the characters not knowing enough information. And this gets even worse here in a few minutes as we transition into episode 2. But the fact that we just let these teenagers, young adults, go into this place potentially to get bit but it's all retarded zombie stuff. Like this is just stupid stuff, and I can't stand when any show does this. And again, everything about the show is all about Ellie. It's very clear that this is where we're going. It's got a ton of agenda. So they're celebrating their new year. They're going to dance together. It's all about their kiss. And then they got to have this. He's labeled like this, I guess, homophobic dude who's like, hey, this is a family event. Quit making out. I don't understand why that's such an inappropriate angle. Like, why is it okay for like the lesbian teens to just start kissing and making out in the middle of like the family event? I don't know. That's what the show's all about, though. Show's all about, telling you how to think and feel in the middle of this sort of weird zombie apocalyptic scenario that we're building, even though everything doesn't make any sense. And I have to admit, if going forward, the entire show is built around these Gen Zers, like these, faceless, replaceable, no personality former Fireflies. They checked every box of race and everything like that because it's so unbecoming. And I was so checked out. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many times I had to start and stop episode 1. I did force myself to get to episode 2 because I know there's a lot of action. But yeah, Dina and Joel are out on their own. And then, of course, the outbreak and the craziness starts to come. And what's happened is they've set stuff up, but it's also rushed. They've raced to make this happen. I don't want anyone to give them a pass on how you feel about the show declining or people that don't want to watch it if the ratings decline or whatever, because they could have, explained a lot more about how this infection is now with these corpses and there could be live ones underneath it. And they're insulated. It doesn't really make any sense scientifically, but they have this massive Walking Dead sort of attack. Abby's caught on a patrol. They're just retarded, by the way. Like, I don't understand why they're all going to follow this stupid, arrogant, nasty teen girl who's trying to avenge her dad, the doctor, who was basically the dude experimenting on Ellie when Joel goes in to save her. Or we're just going to follow this nasty woman girl into death as we try to attack this city. And then she basically helps instigate the zombie apocalypse breakout because she's the one that kind of stirs up the snow and all this kind of happens. And that's how the episode kind of moves forward with all that happening. And of course, everybody is going to get separated. Everyone's going to first off, the audience gets a little bit of prep. We get just a few moments of prep, so we know what the store and the owners and everyone in town is actually supposed to kind of plan and do when this outbreak actually takes place. Because I don't know about you, but I didn't know what to expect. I'm not a game player. I don't know how this was supposed to go. It does feel just like a level in a game rather than anything that's supposed to really be believable much beyond that. And I think what's really hard for me is the fact that I'm just kind of getting my feet wet in season 2, understanding what we're going to do. And I'm just being lectured about this nasty little girl, Ellie, who's a bisexual at best, or she's kissing the Dina girl. She's, I don't know, whatever that agenda is. And then there's sort of like, what's everybody's purpose? And then you have these rando Zers who are just going to attack to avenge the Firefly villains from season 2. It's season 1. So now the season 2, they're the villains again. These bunch of these little kids, basically. It's just retarded. And instead they get away with it because of the level of the zombie attack and all that. And it was brilliantly done. It was beautiful done. It was the by far the best thing in the show is the scale, all that. There's some bad CGI dogs, by the way. They let the dogs loose in the episode, and that was probably the worst CGI that we had in this episode. But the zombie attack, all of that was fantastic. It's a little weird because the proportions are a little out of whack. They were like, let's say 1,000 zombies attacking, and then at the end, everyone feels like they're overwhelmed, but then you have all these people running around like they survived. I don't know how they survived, but I don't understand too the conveniences of the brother. He gets cornered by the giant one. He's using his flamethrower. It runs out of the tank, runs dry, and then it just conveniently dies. And you're like, oh, come on. So the problem with this as a video game to live action is on the game, you have this little level that lets you know how close you are to winning. We're watching it. I didn't know he was close to winning or not. It just looks like another contrived, convenient thing that happens and not something that I think was believable at all. Didn't work for me at all. Anyway, everyone's talking about what actually happens in the episode. And I do understand if you have not seen episode 2, it's probably best to not, watch this episode, not hear the review and get at least a taste of what they actually did to you, because it is pretty ridiculous that they're going to turn over the entire show to these little girls, and that's pretty much all that's left. I care about Tommy, the brother. I mean, he's cool, that's fine, I'm good with that. But it's going to be Ellie and Dina now. There's no other characters that are remotely interesting or worthy of conversation, and they have basically just set up the fact that we are going to uh, take out the main character and make you feel bad or whatever, that you are sad about it. I guess I don't know, what am I supposed to feel? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. I understand why gamers are so mad now, especially if you were playing this character for so long, and then suddenly you wake up one day and the character's gone, and you're left to play Abby? Is that what actually happened to you guys? I mean, it's so insane that they separate everybody out through conveniences. Then they put Abby literally in the room with him. Like, you couldn't figure out like how she was going to get close enough to take him out. And she's obsessed with this revenge. It's clear that she's obsessed with this revenge. It is almost impossible to tolerate anything involving her. Like, her character is just so not believable. The poor actress, she's trying to do the best she can with what she has to work with, but it's ridiculous. Every character, including the other women, tower over her, and she's just so irrational. Like, they're in her room, like, listen, if we stick with this forward, we're going to die. And I'm like, then don't stick with her. Like, just tell her, no, we're not doing this. Like, this isn't the right thing to do. Like, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, that's kind of how that plays out. And then Joel's in the room, so we're just going to murder and torture him. And then, of course, Ellie comes in at the very last second, and you basically have to endure the end of Joel right there in front of you. And it really is shocking. It really is intense. They deliver, a horrifying death for the character. It's just, why are we doing this? Like, what is the point of taking out the main character? What do you have left for a show? What am I supposed to watch? Everyone's been lying about everything. Like, no one's being totally truthful. I don't care for Ellie. She's not even been truthful about what happened about 2 seconds ago. Like, I don't. Oh, man. What a mess of a show. And it's high quality as far as set design and production and what they're trying to get out of it. I just think the source material is terrible. Like, the idea of you're killing the main character like this and then not waiting. Like, they didn't even try to drag this out to like a mid-season kind of like, oh man, what are we going to do now? And you could build up other characters to be rooting for. What do they do now? It's episode 2. It was so hard to get through episode 1. Then you do all of this in episode 2. I'm like, do I even sit through episode 3? Because it's going to be a filler episode. It's going to be all the emotions, maybe a faux funeral, what's going to happen next kind of thing. Um, Dear Lord, what a mess. An absolute mess. And I feel for you gamers who are really into this now. I mean, I get it. I assume that things have changed. I heard that Abby's character is a little more believable. Her story arc is more believable, right? That she's, vengeful of this dad, right? Whereas in the game, she's just this mannish woman who just attacks and kills him. I don't think we even know why in the game. Maybe I'm wrong with some of the context here, but reality is you haven't switched to another character. You're not, who am I supposed to play? And who am I supposed to be rooting for now? Tommy's not going to leave his family. And to do what? To hunt down some random Gen Zers in the winter, in the snow? Like, it's just retarded. Like, the show's a mess. I have no idea what to expect now. No idea why I would keep watching. It's really kind of a hard one for me. So anyway, that's my take on it. And I'm Pops.